I've said this severally. Administrations are not run on social media. When you see atrocities involving my men, you know the procedure. FRSC has the best process because of our ISO compliance. All our processes are so clear, there's no ambiguity there. So when my men are committing atrocity, you should know where to get to. Many people have been calling me.
Expatiate on it now so that
yes,
for those who are watching.
Many people have been calling me on issues of getting driver's license, when it's even the list of all the activities I perform in my office. So how come you will not call me when my men are demanding for bribe on the road? How come you not call me when they are perpetrating injustice on the road? I went to a church to give advocacy one time, and when it was time for questions to be asked, a journalist, I didn't know a journalist was in the church, and he came up and gave me the narration of all circulars that was released by Federal Road Safety Corps on why our men should not disturb people without having fire extinguishers in their vehicles. He was so, he was so excited because he believed he's handy with that information and is ready to tackle me. And the question I ask, are you celebrating the fact that people are driving all the roads in Lagos without fire extinguisher? Even if FRSC have written that thing because our men were abusing it, I think you should be able to tackle FRSC. There is a right to put up such a policy that when I'm driving on the road, I'm not supposed to have fire extinguisher. But you are happy because you feel it's to the advantage of members of the public. But it's not. Because when your vehicle catches fire and you expect me to use my own fire extinguisher, what happens to my own vehicle in case there's any problem?
Right.
So we need to really weigh what we want. For us, when there's any atrocities being put in place by our men, it is the responsibility of members of the public to reach out to me. I have about 14 unit commands distributed all over Lagos. So you can easily walk in there and ask for the management. Don't go and talk to somebody under the tree. Somebody said it the other day that he was scammed in FRSC office. Who scammed you? He said a man under the tree. My office is not under the tree.
Right.
My office is a structure. Who is the sector commander I want to see him? Get across to the sector commander. You have the 32 line, 122 that you can call to get any information. You have access to the sector commander's number that people have been calling. Let us not weaken the structure in the name of trying to pay back, because at the end of the day, the society will pay for it.
Now, let's look at how we want to build on the improvements achieved so far, building up to the December months.
Exactly.
We're already in the Ember months, and a lot of persons are always scared of this period because of the number of movement across Lagos, outside of Lagos. What level of advocacy are we pushing out there? What are we looking to build upon to achieve the success that we have achieved so far?
I think the good news for Lagos first is that the exit from Lagos is getting better because of the job that has been completed. That's towards being done by Julius Berger towards outside Lagos.
Outside of Lagos.
You notice that the diversions have been opened. Though that means coming out of Lagos will be easier for us now. Because I do say it, that the reason why we have fatal crashes happening outside Lagos cannot really be dissociated from what is happening in Lagos. If it takes me 30 minutes to move from Ojuelegba outside Lagos before I proceed on my journey, and now it's taking me 4 hours because of gridlocks within Lagos, I want to catch up with the time when I leave Lagos. And how do they catch up with the time? They increase speed. And when they lose control, there's fatal crash because of the high speed. So what we try to do is that we've been collaborating, just like we did last year, with all the construction companies. When it gets to a particular point in December, they have to suspend the activities, realign the barriers in order to create more space for vehicles to move out. Because when you are coming with about 4 lanes, and it's narrowed down to 2. With human nature that we have witnessed over the years, lack of patience, you see the 4 lanes trying to struggle rather than align, reasoning to prevail and say, okay, let it be turn by turn. So we have tried to work on that. And as regards the response time, by Tuesday, still in line with this World Day remembrance, we are trying to improve on our response time, because either we like it or not, crashes will occur. But the response matters. So rather than staying with the 15 minutes response time that FRSC talked about, in Lagos now, by virtue of the blessing of the Corps Marshal, we have been given some motorbikes. That's the heavy motorbikes now that can be used for our quick rescue response. That's reducing the response time to about 5 minutes. That's in addition to all our first responders that we have along the corridor. That artisan that you are seeing there doing for organizing work is our staff.
Right.
In quotes, we're trained to dispense first aid. The woman that is selling by the roadside there, they've been brought to our office and trained, and they have their kits there. So we now added to that our bikes, and we also have the bikers units that are going to be fortified with first aid items, so that anywhere they are and there's a crash, they get there 2 things: to alleviate the pains of the injured, to save some people from dying, and to also manage the traffic to allow the better ambulance rescue to get to the scene unhindered. So these are the things we have put in place. In addition to mop-up enforcement, we have started. You notice there are a series of, I cannot mention the number of people that have been arrested in the recent time. Mop-up as regards the issue of driver's license. So if you don't have driver's license, it's an indication that you are going out there to commit homicide, if I may put it that way, because for you not to have driver's license, I believe you don't know how to drive. So you don't have any business being out there. So that's part of the way we try to build the integrity and confidence of members of the public, that at least when I'm sharing the road with somebody, I should know that that person is allowed to operate on that road. And in line with this, how do we protect the exposed road users? That's the pedestrians, the cyclists, and the bike riders. And that's the essence of building on what this day is trying to celebrate, that we should reduce speed. The last Global Safety Week says speed should be reduced to 30 kilometers per hour within the township, so that even if we have cause to brush somebody, it will not lead to death. So these are the things we have tried to put in place and make sure we reduce road traffic crashes this season.
Now, 2 issues that you mentioned that I'd like for you to touch on. Some of the queries some persons have had, which has to do, one has to do with the issuing of driver's license.
Yep.
There are those who believe that the process is not as stringent as it is being seen, because some persons could just walk in, pay the monies and just get these licenses without necessarily going through the process of being tested on if they can actually drive.
Okay.
So how do you react to that?
Well, somebody came to my office last week and they claimed to be a celebrity, and the brother will be traveling out, and that needed a driver's license. And I tried to, enumerate the process to him, that you have to go to driving school, which will take about 26 syllabus, 26 days, and it is automated. It's the process that will generate the code with which you assess the porter for you to apply for the driver's license. And after you apply for the driver's license, you have to go for proficiency test. That's for VIS to confirm that driving school you attended, or you are fit and you passed. And when you pass, that's when you are now allowed to go and make payments with Motor Vehicle Administration. And FRS is always the last bus stop where you are captured, your biometrics are taken, and you are now given temporary driver's license. So it's a tripartite thing. It's a system that cannot be intercepted. So it's not something where, if I don't need to go to Israel for me to know whether the driver's license you are holding is fake or genuine. The mere asking you a question will tell me whether it's genuine or fake. Not. Because I'll just ask you, how did you get your driver's license? And you say, oh, I submitted my passport. I'll just say, let me have the driver's license.
But you can't ask everybody.
No, I know.
Right.
I know. I can't ask everybody. And that's why we try to build the regime. The integrity of driver's license today has gotten to a point where some Western world even have accepted our driver's license as a document that can be used in their own country. Yes, because we have a kind of feedback you can send signal to our own office to get the integrity of that driver's license through our database. And that's what has been happening. So if you send such and we don't have it, that means it's fake.
Right. Anyway, one of the other issue you mentioned, which has to do with speed violations, some would say that on majority of our roads, we do not have speed limit indicators. So how do people get to know that they are violating the speed limit for that route?
One thing that is certain, which I want to believe, I don't always want us to give excuses.
Definitely,
For,
we are
you
not.
understand?
Yes.
I understand. For Lagos, this might not really be totally true, because when you look at virtually the major roads in Lagos, you have the signages indicating the speed. And that's the current thing that the present Minister for Works has tried to adopt. If you look at all our corridors now, Lagos-Ibadan, you see the improvement as regards signages, because I do travel. You see the signages there. I know we are getting there. But one thing I want us to appreciate is that at the point of learning how to drive, the driving school will take you through all the process of the signages. Number one is, what is the speed limit on the highway? What is the speed limit on the express? And what is the speed limit within the built-up areas? And for the built-up areas, we have agreed now that the wall says 30 kilometers per hour. One thing anybody cannot take from you is that you have your speed radar gun, or the speedometer, indicating to you what you are running.
Right.
So if you're in a built-up area, the rule says it's known all over the world, it's known all over the places that the current regulation for township speed is 30 kilometers per hour. When you are driving and you are getting to a built-up area, you are coming on 90 kilometers per hour, and you are getting to Ibafo or Mowe, common sense reasoning. That is also documented.
Some would say it's not common.
That is also documented, says you reduce your speed to 30 kilometers per hour. When you're getting into township, beggar, I think more reasoning demands that you go. You understand. Then that's where human too comes in. How come we don't want to get it right? How come I willingly decide to face the traffic when I know it's wrong? How come I will stand beside the Federal Road Safety Call vehicle and bring out my phone to make the call? Because I feel, let him come and do what he wants to do. How come during rainy season I know my wiper is not working and it doesn't mean anything to me? As long as I bring out my towel and improvise. Then you continue to ask, how come we're doing this to ourselves? And at the same time, we don't want enforcement. So these are the things. So it's not just one side. It's, issue of safety.
Absolutely, but we just want to ensure there is a balance.
You understand?
Where there are some of the things necessarily provided on the part of government that people can see and comply with, which is some of the issue. Because some persons, if they don't see these things, they may not necessarily remember.
I understand. I get the point.
Because there are several issues they'll tell you they are thinking about and all of that.
Even NGOs.
Yes.
Even companies are using it as their CSR now. Because I remember a few years back when I had to work with an insurance company who tried to build some of these road signs. So it's not just about governments. When you know that you see zebra crossings virtually every part of Lagos, though I have issues with the way some of them are placed.
Right.
Because you see a zebra crossing at the marketplace. So it's defeated. Well, everybody stands at the zebra crossing to buy one or two things. So that means vehicle cannot stop permanently. I see zebra crossing at bends. Me coming from the bend and there's a zebra crossing, how do I know what is happening afar? And I see zebra crossing at bus stop, where people stop to enter vehicle. All those ones are defeated. I'm sure, like the Honorable Commissioner for Transport said, that all these things are being reviewed under Lagos so that we can build more roads that is safety friendly.
Now, two things before we let you go, which has to do with collaboration. Are we going to be seeing more of this collaboration with stakeholders such that we can see a reduction, much more than we have seen now in Lagos State with regards to road crashes?
Yes, you don't throw away the winning team, because if there's anything I've enjoyed since I came on board, is that collaboration with the states, with the NGOs and other agencies.
Yes.
And I think the best we can do is to continue to build on it. And we have a government that has opened its own hands to all agencies. So what more can you do than to give them support? There's no competition here. Look at the recent crash that happened at Ojuelegba. That's where you see the power of collaboration. The Federal Safety Corps was there. I called LASEMA. Ambulances were there. Even people didn't give them any chance. The 4 people that were trapped under that container. But with the prompt response of all the agencies working with one purpose, all of them were brought out alive. And that's what collaboration gives. And that's what we should be celebrating this year.
Now, you talked about dealing with trauma, how these persons, first responders, deal with trauma. We want you to expatiate on that. Looking at this day, that's another aspect that has to be talked about, because we must consider how they feel.
Exactly.
They are humans too. Talk to us. How do they deal with this?
I should be in the best position to say that, because I recall one of my experience when I was head of operation in Badagry, and we had calls to rescue a crash, and the 6 of them were dead, mangled, and for almost 3 days I couldn't sleep, because at the point I closed my eyes, I always have a kind of as if I was actually seeing those people. And at times when you are giving food, you want to keep all the mates aside. So consciously it became part of our training when we started growing in the system. You know, we do have all these medical psychologists coming around as part of our courses, even in at the camp. But at times, what you receive at the camp is different from the
experience,
experience on the field. So over years, we try to develop, you know, that consciousness. That is the job, is the calling, and we have to build. But what gives us more encouragement is when we are being appreciated by members of the public.
Right. And on behalf of the public, I want to appreciate all the efforts by you and your men at ensuring that a lot of people are rescued, and also trying to ensure that road crashes are reduced to the barest minimum. Thank you so much, Lagos Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Olusegun Ogungbemide, for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.